I can't believe it, but we are heading into the holiday season already. 2022 is just about in the rear view mirror. We're not quite done yet, okay? And quite frankly, it's my favorite time of the year because the background is going to be changing very, very shortly. Or at least it should be next week or two. Not too sure when I'm going to be putting up all my decorations, but all the lights are going to be behind me and all that kind of fun stuff. And, well, my place won't particularly be having any sort of the sweets or holiday treats, or it's just Christmas treats. Let's just call it exactly what it is, okay? I'm not going to be partaking in the season, but I know many people out there will be, so you're going to be acquiring an additional amount of sugar just by proximity, okay? You think that you've been good all year, okay, and it's just, holidays, it's just social eating, okay? You're going to have your Christmas parties that are going to be out there, even your New Year's parties, okay, and that you can just get back on track in January. Yeah, but you're going to have to overcome that new amount of sugar that's been in your diet, okay? You're going to have those cravings. You're going to have those symptoms of sugar withdrawal once you finally do get back on track. Now you could be like me and just completely steer clear of it, okay? And then you won't have to worry about any of that type of stuff. You got other things to worry about, like trying to keep videos talking about ivermectin and its efficacy up on your channel. Anyways, let's talk about sugar cravings, how you can beat it, how you can stave it off, all of the good stuff that's out there. I'm going to be doing something about gluten probably next week or towards the end of next week, something like that, and for the exact same reasons, because, the different dishes, the different celebrations that are going to be out there, and the way to keep it on the straight and narrow during this. It's my favorite time of the year. I can't call it anything different than that. Okay, so what is the root cause of sugar cravings if there is no taste to your food, but rather signals from your gut and brain? Most people think that the reason we start to eat something is due to the taste of the food. It is tasty. We want more of it. It is simply harder to stop when it comes to sweet foods. However, recent studies reveal the reason why you crave sweeter foods, more calories, has to do with the way your brain and gut function. Those two forces play a critical role in your sugar cravings, more than the sweet taste of the food itself. By understanding these mechanisms, you can more easily control sugar cravings in your daily life. Sugar comes in many forms, such as glucose, fructose, mainly found in fruits. Yeah, that's where fructose is. But then, of course, with the sugary drinks, of course, especially in the United States, high fructose corn syrup. Okay, that's not anything special. That is simply a distilled and concentrated form of fructose. It's terrible because fructose, repeat after me, can only be processed in the liver. And outside of that, then it gets stored outside of your liver, creating a fatty liver in the process. Galactose and sucrose, which is also known as table sugar or refined sugar. There's an abundance of studies showing the negative health effects of sugar, particularly added sugar and high fructose corn syrups and artificial sweetener used in processed foods. Yes, because it's very easy to produce, okay, comes as a derivative of corn. And why do you think those crops get so many subsidies attached to them? It's easy to produce, and then it keeps on the shelf for a very long time, and also it triggers a good response in the brain, so it keeps you coming back for more. Many people think that fructose is healthier than glucose because it comes from fruits. Yeah, that's a common misconception that's out there, okay? They think that they're eating a candy, there's no added sugar that's on top of it, and it's like, well, it's fruit flavored, and it's you're just you're using some critical thinking, but you're lacking the appropriate mechanisms in order to make informed decisions. Good try, but not going to work out that well. Or drinking fruit juices. Okay, I drink concentrated fruit juice. That's so much better. And it's like, no, it's not. You're missing all of the fiber that's necessary to offset all the additional sugar that's in your fruits. Anyways, but this notion is misguided. Yeah, your body does not respond to the same way to fructose in fruits as it does to added fructose. As added sugar, fructose is linked to conditions like metabolic syndrome, hypertension, insulin resistance, diabetes, eye damage, and a kidney disease. Added fructose can also encourage inflammation and direct your body to make more fat. Meanwhile, natural fructose found in fruits is accompanied by antioxidants, potassium, vitamin C, and fiber. These nutrients all have the health benefits and outweigh any negative consequences of eating fructose. Besides, that's exactly what I said. Now, what? Now do you believe it more because it's written down in text form? I understand. You don't want to take my advice seriously. I get it. For example, fructose in a peach accounts for approximately 1% of the fruit's weight, whereas fructose in high fructose corn syrups accounts for 50% of the weight of the sweetener. Yeah, it's not very good now, is it? Okay. So glucose comes from the Greek word meaning sweet. That's nice, but how do you overcome the sugar addiction? I think we're just kind of getting lost in the weeds here, my guy. Did you have a word count in order to hit in order to find the ability to get this article published? Okay, yeah, glucose comes from the root word gluco, which is sweet. Great, wonderful, fantastic. When you ingest foods and fruits that contain carbohydrates and they're broken down into glucose, enters the bloodstream, yes, then your body can use it as a form of energy, okay? Or your body can also break down stored fat or new incoming fat in order to create glucose. Or, you could just run a ketogenic diet and then have your body run on ketones. But whatever, to each their own, I suppose. Although your brain makes up only 2% of your body, it consumes approximately 20% of the total calories you eat each day. The brain needs so much more fuel because the neurons and the nerve cells use up a lot of energy to function. But if you have good quality fuel, you don't need quite as much, ergo ketones. Thus, as an organ, your brain is a sugar-consuming machine and the most energy-demanding organ in your body. Yep, the brain needs sugar in order to function. Nah, bruh. There's that blood-brain barrier. Okay, there's only certain things that can get through it. One of those things being sugar in order for energy to cross it. But guess what else can cross the blood-brain barrier? Oh, ketones? You don't say. The effects of sugar can be seen in different processes controlled by the brain. For example, in a recent animal study, scientists recorded the activity of neurons, particularly in the part of the brain that responds to visual images, the so-called visual cortex. The researchers found that in the animals were well fed, they could see more clearly, and they were when they were fasting. Interesting. In other words, your brain doesn't function as well as it should when you don't get enough sugar. However, this doesn't mean that consuming a lot of sugar is a good thing. No, I need my copious amounts of sugar in order for my brain to function well because I need to see better. Doesn't really compute all that well, but okay, not enough or too much sugar can also not be good for your brain and body function. Therefore, your pancreas makes insulin to keep your blood glucose levels in check. If the glucose in your blood is too high, insulin will decrease blood glucose levels so the extra sugar will not damage your brain and body. In contrast, low levels of sugar in your body will lead to a loss of energy in the brain, impairing its function and making you crave more sugar. So for the average person who's out there who is not fat adapted, okay, not accustomed to having your body run on fat, this is what happens. That's that never-ending cycle. That's why you'll be satiated with carbohydrates every once in a while, but then after they all get broken down to their smaller components, their glucose that's out there, then you want to eat some more because you need to keep that cycle going. Your body's not producing anything. It's simply consuming and using what you're putting into it. Ongoing low blood sugar levels are linked to poor cognitive function. Studies show that when you want to eat something sweet, there are two things happening. There's craving a sugary taste, that your neurons are sending signals that they need more of this nutrient. A sugar craving could be a sign that your blood glucose levels need to be boosted. The first reason your sugar cravings happen is due to your sense of taste, known as the taste pathway. When you eat something sweet, the sweet receptor on your tongue and platelet recognizes the taste and sends a signal to your brain to influence your perception of the food. The signal can make a sugary food look or sound more appetizing. Consequently, you will seek out more of that food. Makes sense. And there are 5 different taste receptors on your tongue specifically. I forget. We ran this test. I think it was in chemistry, 12th grade chemistry or something like that. It was kind of buck wild to figure that stuff out. But there's different little taste testers that you can have on the sides of your tongue. I think, I don't even remember, okay? But you can taste things either on the back of your tongue that you can't taste on the front, or on the sides that you can't taste on the back. It's completely wild and kind of interesting too, because the body, guess what guys, the body is very interesting and quite complex. Second reason for sugar cravings happening unconsciously is, in fact, in one study, scientists found that mice without taste receptors still preferred sugary drinks over water. Interesting. So, if your sweet taste receptor on your tongue isn't entirely responsible for your cravings, then how else can your body identify the sweet taste? A new study reveals that the neuropod cells, or gut sensory cells, can help respond to the presence of sugar within your gut. When you ingest any food or drink that contains glucose, fructose, sucrose, or any other form of sugar, your metabolism will convert it into glucose, and your neuropod cells will recognize it as being sweet. The cells will then send electrical signals up to your brain and trigger a dopamine pathway. With those two forces both triggering a dopamine reward pathway, your brain and body are constantly pushing you to crave sugar consciously and unconsciously. That is very interesting, okay, where your body is just going to respond to simple sugar entering into it for uses of creating energy, and that your body gets used to that stuff. It makes sense, but I guess I never put two and two together. It seems like a very depressing picture. So how can you get rid of this cycle? Well, there's, I think, 5 different ways you can do it. Drink lemon or lime juice after you eat. Oh, to neutralize the acidity, okay? Or rather bring it back to just kind of a homeostatic situation. There's the words I'm looking for. Sorry if you can't tell. Got a bit of a head cold. It's that time of year. The temperatures have been fluctuating wildly. I opined on it on the main channel to begin with, but for anybody who doesn't watch that and just likes the nice health content where I don't swear as much, it'll be the first time you notice a bit of a difference. Anyways, in one study, a group of researchers discovered that mammals are genetically hardwired to avoid sour tastes. I'd imagine that was probably a precursor in our earlier days, avoiding sour tastes, bitter tastes, because they were normally associated with poison. That would make sense. So when you eat something sour, neurons in your mouth will send a signal to the brain telling you to stay away from that food or drink. Therefore, consuming lemon or lime juice with your water after you eat a sugary, high carbohydrate or large meal may trigger signals that blunt cravings. Very interesting. Okay, consume more cinnamon. That's something I can get on board with, and especially given the season, you're going to be seeing a lot more cooking with cinnamon, or even just smelling it in the air, because it's a popular air freshener for this time of year, and I'm totally by that. I think cinnamon's great. Anyways, some studies show that cinnamon can be a useful tool to control blood sugar levels. I think there's a video on the channel talking about that specifically, but anyways, cinnamon can help control how quickly sugar enters the bloodstream. It may accomplish this by slowing down how quickly foods move out of your stomach. Interesting. Okay. If you're going to be having a big meal with a lot of sugar or eat foods that contain high levels of carbohydrates, you can prevent blood glucose spikes by adding cinnamon to your food or beverages. However, because cinnamon contains an element called coumarin, it is toxic at high levels. But you legitimately have to be sitting down with an entire bucket of cinnamon, so don't worry about ODing on that delectable spice. All right then, yeah, keep in mind not to ingest too much cinnamon. Eat less than 1.5 teaspoons per day. Yeah, it'd be pretty tough to get that much. Okay. Increase your intake of omega-3 fatty acids. For satiety purposes, okay, neuropod cells in your gut not only respond to sugar, but they also do to amino acids and fatty acids, such as omega-3 fatty acids. Cool. These nutrient stuffed avocados. I just noticed that. That's kind of cool. That could probably be pretty tasty. I might have to try that. Anyways, you can also take liquid fish oil supplements, but we'll need to check how many omega-3 fatty acids are in each serving. Of course, you can take in more fatty acids through your food, many which are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, such as salmon, sea bass, mackerel, shrimp, seaweed, algae, walnuts, kidney beans, and chia seeds. Too healthy, omega-3. Well, you get the omega-3s from the salmon, and then you just get quality unsaturated fat from the avocado, but then also the additional, it's the most dense form of potassium you can get through dietary means outside of supplementation. That would be quite a unique taste, probably a good taste as well. Might have to break that down and do that one. Anyways, but yes, so we got some dietary means and methods, cinnamon, some acidic beverages, omega-3 fatty acids, quality fats. How about just some better sleep? How about that? Okay, how's that actually going to help? A recent study showed that sleep disruptions can affect your appetite and glucose metabolism. Interesting. Researchers also discovered that there's a particular phase of sleep that is associated with sugar metabolism. When you don't get enough high-quality sleep, your appetite for sugary foods will increase. I always thought that maybe because if you aren't getting good enough sleep, okay, in order to stay awake, people rely on sugary beverages in order to increase their energy levels. But, okay, if there's a phase of sleep associated with sugar metabolism, that's interesting. Maintain a good sleep schedule can help you improve your metabolism throughout your whole body. Try to make sure to go to bed early enough each night and wake up at a consistent time each morning. Avoiding screens before bedtimes may also help with better sleep. Of course, I got an entire sleep playlist on the channel, so yeah, for more on that, you can obviously go there. Sugar cravings are normal, but it doesn't mean that you have to live with them. Try the above strategies to work out your body and mind to fight cravings and learn to live with less sugar. Yeah, because it's one of those things that you legitimately don't need. Your body needs sugar in order to have energy. No, it'll break down stuff. They're complex. There's carblex. Those are complex carbohydrates. If you want to meld both of the words together, just go with carblex. But no, if you are somebody who likes to partake in carbohydrates, especially around this time of year, given the different delicacies that are going to be on display, make proper decisions about that. Make sure that they're whole grains. Make sure that it's loaded up with fiber, something that's going to last a while, something that's going to take a minute to break down, if that's your type of thing. Otherwise, just go with the more fatty foods. Keep them in moderation. You can still partake in all of the different festivities that make this part of the year so great, but you don't have to become an indulgent pig after all. So, with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.